So, depending on your math skills, this could be a very easy problem to solve without a calculator. Matter of fact, let's go and take a look at the problem. We have 5 to the 6th power minus 5 to the 5th power, all of this divided by 4. All right, this is a multiple choice question. Let's go and take a look at our answers. So A is 1/4, B is 5 over 4, C is 25, D is 5 to the 4th power, and E is 5 to the 5th power. All right, so let's go and take a look at the correct answer. The correct answer to this problem is E, 5 to the 5th power. Okay, so here is our problem, and of course we know the correct answer now is E, 5 to the 5th. But what we're dealing with here is a math multiple choice question. You have to be really, really careful with these because a lot of students, they'll be like, okay, I know how to do all this work. Matter of fact, I'm going to do this 1 hour exam in 10 minutes because I got to check my text messages and do my other homework, whatever the case might be. I've seen this time and time and time again. The worst thing you can do is take a test and hurry up and turn your exam in. Now, why do I bring this up is because if you're rushing these questions, right, I'm just going to give you a little bit of test-taking advice for those of you that are students here, and it does apply to this problem, and of course we'll get into the solution here in just 1 second. But oftentimes you'll see this problem, be like, okay, I know what to do, 1, 2, 3, and you'll pick a choice, and you feel good about your answer or what you just did because you recognize your answer. You're like, oh, the answer is 1/4. There you go, I'm moving on. Now, you think at the end of the test that you're going to get like a 99%. Then you actually get your test back and you get like a C minus at 72% or something like that. And now you're, pretty upset. You're like, hey, what happened? I saw my answers. I was feeling really good. Well, you got to be super careful when it comes to math multiple choice questions because the answer selections, okay, are designed to be the results, right? Of course, with the exception of the correct answer. But the rest of the answers, for the most part, if you have a well-designed math test or math question, these answers are going to be the results of common mistakes. So you might be like, oh, I see my answer. Well, that's because you actually did this in a common, incorrect kind of method, if you will, or approach, and you see your results. So, you got to be very careful with math multiple choice questions, and the only way to really get around this is to know what you're doing. All right, so let's just take, for example, 1/4, 1/4. So someone might say, well, let's see, I got 5 to the 6th minus 5 to the 5th. 6 minus 5, maybe this is 1. Maybe this whole thing is equal to 1. So that would be 1/4. That looks pretty good to me. So let's go ahead and select that, right? Or you might say, well, 5 to the 6th minus 5 to the 5th. Maybe 6 minus 5 is 5 to the 1st. So this makes, pretty good sense. So maybe it's like 5 to the 1st over 4 or 5 over 4. Boy, that even looks better. But these are both wrong. So this is what I'm talking about. So the only way to get a math question correct is to know what you're doing, even on multiple choice exams. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the actual strategy on how to solve this. So what could we do here? Well, remember, in this particular problem, we're not going to be using calculators, all right? So we're only going to be using that supercomputer right here between your ears. So you have some options, right? So you might say, well, let's see, I don't remember how to work with powers and exponents, but I can certainly, calculate out 5 to the 6 because like 5 squared means 5 times 5, or 5 to the 3rd power, 5 cubed, means 5 times 5 times 5. So you could get your paper and pencil out and be like, I'm just going to calculate this out. And you subtract these two and then divide by 4 to get the right answer. So that is one direct approach. You certainly could take that and you could get the right answer. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and actually do that right now. All right, so we have 5 to the 6th minus 5 to the 5th. We're going to have to figure out what 5 to the 6th power is equal to and 5 to the 5th power is equal to. So let's go ahead and do that right here. I'm not going to go through the painstaking multiplication, but I'm going to show you here that someone could do this, right? So like, all right, 5 to the 6th is 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. These are 6 5s, right? So you could just start, say, all right, 5 times 5 is 25 times 5, and then, or you could do it this way, 25 times 25 times 25. There's a number of different ways you could approach this, but at the end of the day, 5 times itself 6 times is going to be this number right here, 15,625. All right, so 5 to the 5th is going to be this number right here, 3125. Now you could get this number first and then multiply this by another 5 if you're thinking either way, or thinking ahead, to manage the work in this problem. But this is one approach, right? And again, remember, we're not using a calculator. All right, so let's go ahead and take these two values and go back to our problem. Okay, so 5 to the 6th, remember, is this number, 15,625. 5 to the 5th is 3125. So when we subtract these two values, we're going to get the following. Matter of fact, let me kind of scroll down here. So when we take the difference of these two numbers, we get 12,500. Now we're going to divide by 4, and we end up with 3125. And you're saying 3125? Oh yeah, that's the same thing as 5 to the 5th. Okay, so 5 to the 5th is the right answer because remember, this is a multiple choice question, and 3125 is not an answer selection. Okay, so you might be saying, oh, I got the right answer. But again, you're going to have to recognize that answer. You're going to have to recognize that 3125 is the same thing as 5 to the 5th. So that's even another step. But this is one approach, and this is a good approach, especially for those of you that are just, determined to get the right answer. All right, but there is a easy way to do this problem. And of course, just like I was saying in the beginning of this video, it all depends on your math skills, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at that super easy way to do this problem right now. Are you struggling in math because of confusing lessons? Maybe the teacher's not showing you all the steps you need or things are happening too fast. Well, there is a better way. So come on over to my math help program at tcmathacademy.com. There you'll find clear step-by-step instruction by me that will definitely make a huge difference in your math success. So make sure to check out all my courses by following the links in the description. All right, so let's get back to this problem. So we have 5 to the 6th minus 5 to the 5th over 4. Now, when I show you the solution, how easy this is, a lot of you are going to be like, hey, Mr. YouTube Math Man, you should have just did this right from the beginning. Well, I wanted to show you the hard way and then the easy way. And if you have the math skills, then this is like a super easy problem to do, again, without the aid of a calculator. All right, now what we need to do up in the numerator is factor, all right? And hopefully some of you identified that we do have a greatest common factor. I got the work right here, but let me give you a kind of a simpler example. If I had, let's say, 10 minus 4 over 4, okay, I could factor out a greatest common factor. And of course, 10 minus 4 is 6, but we could factor out, if we were so inclined, a what? Well, what's common between these two? A 2. So 2 times 5 minus 2 is 2 is the greatest common factor, right, of the numerator, these two numbers. So because 2 times 5 is 10, and 2 times 2 is 4. So here, we're dealing with powers, and we need to be thinking about factoring, greatest common factor. And the only way you're going to be kind of, aware of this is if you have strong, math skills when it comes to powers and exponents. So let's go ahead and take a look at this right now. So the greatest common factor here is 5 to the 5th. Okay, 5 to the 5th. Now, the GCF is the greatest common factor, greatest common factor. So 5 to the 6th power is the same thing as 5 to the 5th times 5 to the 1st. Okay, so if I said, hey, multiply 5 to the 5th times 5 to the 1st, how do we multiply powers with the bases being the same, right? So here, 5 to the 2nd power, this is the base, this is the exponent. So you can multiply powers when the bases are the same. All we have to do is simply add the exponent. So 5 to the 5th times 5 to the 1st is equal to 5 to the 6th. And here we have 5 to the 5th, and of course, this is a difference. And do these two numbers have a common factor? Of course they do. It's 5 to the 5th. So we can factor out a 5 to the 5th, and that's what I'm doing right here. Okay, so 5 to the 5th, parentheses, 5 minus 1, because 5 to the 5th times 5, or 5 to the 1st, is 5 to the 6th, right? I just showed you that right there. And then 5 to the 5th times 1 is simply 5 to the 5th. Now, look how easy this problem is going to be. All right, so if I factor out the GCF, I could be like, wait a minute here, I got 5 minus 1. Interesting, this could maybe be 4. And let's go and finish this problem up. So 5 minus 1 is indeed 4. And now I have a factor. I have 5 to the 5th times 4 in the numerator, and I have a 4 down here. I can simply cross-cancel these 4s, and yay, I'm done. I have the right answer, 5 to the 5th. Now, another little tip for those of you that still have to take math tests in your life, when you have a multiple choice question, okay, on an exam, okay, for the most part, these questions are going to be designed to be kind of answered in a reasonable period of time. All right, so if you're taking an exam, you're like, oh, I know how to solve this, but it's going to take me 10 minutes. Well, you're probably thinking, you're going down the wrong path. You're thinking about the wrong strategy, and it's very easy. You could do it, okay, but you got to be very careful with your time, and sometimes you do have to use the only way you know to answer a question, but you're going to have to hurry up on other questions. So, when we get into test taking, you really have to think about time management. But anyways, it all comes down to math skills. How much math do you know? The more you know, the better off you're going to be on any exam. And hopefully this little video helps you out. And if that's the case, don't forget to like and subscribe. And with that being said, I definitely wish you all the best in your math adventures. Thank you for your time and have a great day.